So it's hella late at night, I don't know, 2 in the morning or something, and I've been watching YouTube clips of Alex Jones and Joe Rogan going to war. And I think it's just hilarious because neither Joe Rogan or Alex Jones are truthful with you, the viewing public, at all. Both Alex Jones and Joe Rogan continuously defend the Israeli conquest of the American government. Israel owns our government. Israeli lobbyists own our entire government. AIPAC, AIPAC. If you don't know what AIPAC is, just do a little research into AIPAC. We send Israel $38 billion a year. We send them weapons. We allow them to control most of our technological infrastructure. And neither of these guys talk about that. So, to pretend that either one of them isn't managed dissent is lunacy. They're both managed dissent. That's why they get millions of views. That's why YouTube allows them to have thousands of thumbs up and millions of views. Joe Rogan and Alex Jones are both fake news. They both work directly for Zionist and Israeli interests, clearly. Or they would be talking about the fact that we send $38 billion a year to Israel. This is a country where, they're a first world country. They have extremely advanced healthcare, education systems, everything. And, of course, they've been perpetrating a genocide on the local population for more than 50 years now. And yet, nobody in the American media will talk about Israel or the Israeli control of our government. All the neocons are dual Israeli citizens. There's 9/11 had Israeli fingerprints all over it, clearly. And you can just do the research yourself. Look up the Dancing Israelis, watch any of Ryan Dawson's really excellent films about Israeli influence on American government. It's very clear that we are not being represented by our leaders in this country, and that in fact most of our leaders are representing Israel and Israeli interests. And I think that there's even some evidence that Israel had something to do with the murder of JFK, and that's how they got nuclear weapons with the Dimona nuclear plant. At the time LBJ was sleeping with an Israeli spy. These are all things that are known now. These are not conspiracy theories. These are facts. Israel got the nuke right after JFK was murdered. And JFK was instrumental in stopping Israel from getting nuclear weapons. So whether you want to claim that, that there was a lone gunman or whatever, you've got to look at the facts. We send $38 billion a year to Israel, and they are a first world country. And if you even mention anything about Israel, they call you an anti-Semite. So, so Alex Jones and Joe Rogan, sorry, you guys are both fake news. You guys are both Israeli shills. And this whole, YouTube hype and all the views that you guys both get on YouTube, it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's pathetic. And it just shows how ridiculous and controlled our corporate media is at this point.